going to do the initial configuration of corporate energy management. The first thing I want to note is that I started the Orchestra IDE after installation. So basically I have installed the product but not configured anything yet. And after installation, one note I didn't mention in the install video, you absolutely need to restart the Orchestra IDE to actually get the object licensing icon, which is this one. When you click on it, you can actually verify your system and how many meters you are actually on your license. So we have 150 meters, and it's are unlimited at this time. So taken care of. I've also created some basic objects, typical platform engine, and some areas to hold my objects, my simple application. So I want something very simple. So I created that to save time. So next step to actually start the CEM configurator. And a few things. So we see the configuration of the database that was done as part of the installation program. String actually allowing you to define translations for different locales. So French in here, let me add another one. Let me add another. Let's say we'll add Italian. And so when you create strings, you can actually add translations for each of the strings that you have here, translation for French and Italian. We provide electricity, gas, water, but you could easily add additional ones for fuel or steam, for example. Are the manufacturers of the meters that you will have in your application. So let me add one. Let's use Schneider Electric, of course. Define additional manufacturers. Like models, let me add one model. And the first thing it asks is which type of energy, electricity. Schneider Electric. I'll find an Ion 6200. Let me do that. Put an image associated also to that, just to recognize the meter. So this is Ion 6200. It's fairly small. I think I have this one that might be better. Yes. Good. So next unit, I already played with the default units that come with the system on electricity meter type. I kept basically kilowatt hours as my base unit. So it's the one defined with a rate factor of 1 instead of watt hours. Then megawatt, you define how many kilowatt hours are in 1 megawatt hours, 1,000. And for the other units. What I'm going to change, just to show how it works, is the BTU. BTUs with respect to kilowatt hours are very kilowatt hours is more. So let's change that to actually mega BTUs, million BTU, which allows me to actually factor by 1 million. So good. So now kilowatt hours, megawatt hours, mega BTUs, and for man we have kilowatt, mega HP, and horsepower, and mega BTU per hour. I did the water. I won't do that in this demonstration. So this is configuration. Report categories. It's mostly to define grouping of reports, and hierarchy. We'll come back to that when we define meters. So let's close this and save. And next step is in the configuration is to instantiate two system objects. One, data provider. The provider provides data to InTouch, basically. So when you have the orchestra symbol, the data provider object is responsible to read from the database and make it available in real time for InTouch. So create an instance of this object. I'll just the default name to make things faster. I'll put under my system area, and that's basically it. There's nothing really to configure on that. That is the engine service that I want to instigate. So let's create an instance. Okay, and put it under system. Configuration for the engine service that one can do. The calculation interval is set to 1 minute by default. So every minute the system will check and recalculate any virtual delta meters according to changes in the database. So those changes can be rates, can be offline data. It could be an adjustment made on a meter, on a physical meter. All those changes will be trapped and calculate the delta meters. And there's additional parameters in here that we typically do not change. If needed, we need to you need to experience with them and make sure they will have an impact on your memory load actually. So the other one is for offline meter data upload. So if you are using dropping files in a folder and you want CEM to pick up those files automatically and add the data to the CEM database, you can actually do that by defining which directory will hold the files that you will drop, and that will be picked up by the CEM engine. For the engine, and basically after that point, we're ready to configure the application. So this is base configuration. I typically create meters and energy events. That I will actually cover in a separate video. So basic configuration is done now for CEM.